On today's Success or Excuses podcast, we have Katerina Hayes from B Brio AI. Welcome to Success or Excuses podcast.
Thank you so much, James, for having me, and I'm so happy to see you.
We go back quite a long way, right to the very early days of my journey, don't we?
Yes, absolutely. It was the day when you actually transitioned from the oil and gas industry.
That's right.
And it was one of the very first workshops. And that time also I was trying to quit oil and gas.
Yeah.
I hasn't that time, but it's kind of you had this very profound influence on me that day, and that which has triggered other things later on.
And it's been some journey you've had, hasn't it? It's been, I've been following you since the day you left, and I've been watching your journey, and some of the businesses that you've been involved in have been absolutely incredible. The Naked Kimchi, and we'll dive into some of the stories. But I thought it was an incredible idea. I thought it was an incredible business model, and I want to talk about all those things that happen. And that's why I really wanted you to come on, Katerina. So let's go back. So came along a workshop, 7.5, 8 years ago. That's when I first met you.
Yeah.
And tell me about that journey. What was that like? Tell me about the things that you've been through
Yeah, so I think that time when we met, it was that pivoting point where something that what it was in my past, it kind of was there as oil and gas career, 17 plus years.
Yeah.
And I worked offshore for almost 8 years in Scotland. And prior to that, actually, I couldn't get a job. So I was either overqualified or underqualified specifically for the oil and gas. Mm-hmm. So at that time, I just opened my own company and I subcontracted myself. And this is how I kind of hacked the system, let's say. And then I went through all the trainings that it was necessary to actually work on the live offshore facilities, and I pursue my dream. So it was my dream, and prior that, I give up my dream, come back to my dream, and I actually have a lot, I would say, challenges prior that. Moving countries, my one of the again, biggest dream, it was to finish my education in Canada, but then because of my ex-husband, I moved to Scotland, and then I have to start all over again. So 2008, and that time I thought this was right decision, mm-hmm. But then I wasn't content with it. Yep. And when I had my first child, I got into long-term postnatal depression, which is I never knew.
That's horrendous, because most women don't actually know, don't they know?
Absolutely not. And this was devastating because you're kind of present, but you're not. Mm-hmm. And this affected my son a lot, because then later on he was diagnosed with the autism. So there is this certain consequences that, as a mother, I actually affected my son, and I couldn't be there for him, which is then kind of triggered the guilt, mm-hmm. Self-esteem. And then, by giving up your dream and not achieving your dream, then it's actually really made me wonder, who am I? What do I do? What do I want? Because when you deprive yourself from things that you really want, that you truly believe in, it's kind of, you are within yourself, stop believing, believing and trusting. And I think kind of losing that self-trust affected me so much. And that kind of point where I had this first workshop and I was crying. I was like, I didn't know what was going on, because all these kind of emotions that mm-hmm. triggered within me, I thought I can't continue like that. But then I come back to what I knew, and it's kind of try to convince myself this is good money, oil and gas.
Yeah.
I kind of I wanted to achieve certain. It's not like a status, but actually I think it's that kind of self-respect, but also respect among my peers. Yeah. Because I worked with.
You had something to prove, basically, to yourself.
Well, but this is the thing. It's like I have to prove myself, have to prove people, I have mm-hmm. to prove the world, and then it wasn't that content mm-hmm. where I don't need to prove I don't need to prove. I just need to kind of follow my path. But it wasn't like that at all. So
but you come across, even when I met you years ago, Katrina, you come across a really positive, forward thinking. Because I remember I remember the conversations we were having in the room, and you come across as really positive, and you really know where you're going. That's kind of how you've always came across to me. So I was quite surprised when you're like, oh, you know, that self-doubt, because you do come across really positive.
It is, but it's like, I think no one actually see, like, everyone have like all this internal battle constantly, and sometimes we're thinking
the voice.
Absolutely. So sometimes we're thinking that that is very successful person, you can handle. But actually, when you come back to stay with yourself, within you, this is where, dark moments happen. I had suicidal thoughts. I had like a lot of things that, kind of affected me, especially when I was working offshore. I have to leave my children with babysitting.
Yeah.
I had no help. I had no my family in the country to support me. So I was kind of,
completely isolated.
Completely isolated, and then you can rely on people as long as you, as much as you can. But seems like not. I mean, sometimes we expect from people to support and etc. But actually, it's our responsibility. So I think, this was a lot of internal processes that kind of led me to my journey. But in the same time, I'm so grateful because it kind of shaped me into who I am right now. And this journey is not of course finished. I'm still. It's just only starting. So I'm 14 this year, and I think it's the beautiful journey. It wasn't easy, that's for sure. But
entrepreneurism isn't easy.
Absolutely
I'm going to go back to that. Carry on. I'll go back to that in a minute.
So, and I would say that. Own your mistakes and actually accept it. All kind of dark moments. This is the you that you coming through the journey that you necessary for you to understand who you are. And I like this very interesting. Is the not science is the art of kintsugi, is Japanese art when you repair with the gold. And this analogy, I love this analogy, and I believe that all through our lives, we kind of, we have these pieces broken constantly.
Absolutely.
Through the childhood to our adulthood. And then
bosses,
it takes
managers,
everything,
relationships,
everything.
chips away.
Yes. So, and then you kind of, all our life is there to actually put those pieces together and then seal with the gold. And this is how I feel like, we kind of, going to that self-actualization to trying to find our purpose, to actually share our experience. Because someone on that journey, and I think this was with you when you actually shared that journey that you quit oil and gas, what happened with you. And I think for me, it was amazing example of you and your wife to actually come together and really that was example I was looking for the relationship that actually is possible. It's possible to find a partner who is supporting, who is
Oh, I had to look hard and far.
Yeah.
I had to find my wife
in the Middle East. But thing is, it's not the easy part. It takes actually two grown up people to be conscious about decision what they made, and those comments what you made kind of. Affected me long term, but also given that example from your journey that you've been there and you quit and actually you stepping into unknown, which is
terrified.
It was the terrifying experience, and this has always been kind of get surround yourself with people who did it, and I think this was kind of very important part into entrepreneurship. Absolutely. To actually have that examples. Yeah.
So you've had a very, as I said to you, I've been watching you for years, and I was really excited. I know you've been through a few different things, and I was really excited with Naked Kimchi. Are you okay with me talking about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? I was really excited because I thought, wow. because I eat kimchi, right? We eat sauerkraut as well, which is similar. Yeah. We actually eat sauerkraut all the time. And I know it's something similar, and the benefits of it and all that. Fermented food, yes, and the benefits of it. And I was like, even the name was amazing. Like, I thought, wow, what a great idea. And I was watching the journey, and I seen, and you were, you know, I was watching, you know, your posts and the growth and the things that you were involved in, and I'm like, go girl. What happened?
Yeah, so
because it was exciting.
It was exciting until you actually tried to think about scaling up. Because actually I had this article recently in the newspaper that, you know, not every business makes great business in terms of you need to understand limitations of production. Because I set up the business from my home kitchen. And this, you know, and prior to that, another startup I had very technical, very, I would say, deep tech. It was cleaning water from nanomicroplastic, which is, I realized that, you know, you need to 8 million upfront investment, and I couldn't, like, I was sitting, like, after 5 months, I'm like, I'm not sure that I can do it. So, and this is how kimchi came along as an experiment from, you know, it's just basically, I thought, you know what?
I love how you think like that. Like, you just go for it.
Yeah, just kind of, you know, and I think that have that curiosity mindset is so important because, you know, everyone talk about this lean model, build, measure, and learn in the entrepreneurship. And it comes to actually that mindset of the entrepreneur is the curiosity and love. Empathy. Yeah. So because you need to kind of
and risk taking.
And yes, absolutely. So it's to give yourself that, you know, opportunity to explore. So which is I did. I thought, like, what if? And I kind of keep asking myself, what if I'll do this? If I'll do this? And actually, it worked. So, and then when it comes to actually scaling up, because I was struggling at the beginning, you know, I learned everything about thankfully for engineering background, I able to transfer a lot of skills. Yeah. My systemic mindset, like approach to the things that I know how everything worked. But at the same time, like I learned quite a lot doing the business, and it was continuous journey of the learning.
Continuous, isn't it?
Continuous.
It just never stops.
So it never stops, and I never will. Yeah. So yeah, and then 2022 came, war in Ukraine, and this is where I already was in the Glasgow collective. I was renting a container. And it was also like interesting the way I got it, because I identified the company who also had kimchi business, and they apparently were supplying to someone who I wanted to supply. And basically, I analyzed the business, and I'm like, okay, I think they're going to go under very, very soon. And which is they did. So I just took over basically from kimchi.
Right in.
Just it was the good timing. And then I was like actually proud of myself to able to identify these gaps and kind of give myself that, you know, like, you know, well done. Like you thinking probably the, you know, right way. And then this is where it started. You know, we started to supply to Bread Meets Bread for 7 restaurants. They grew with us until they ghostlighted us, and basically we lost the contract. So there is the different story. But thing is, with them, we grew. That they were like amazing support at the beginning. And also validation of the market, because we straight went from B2C straight to the B2B. Yeah. And this was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Then Mikaku came along. We worked with them. You know, it's amazing journey with them. And everything was supposed to be like just kind of growing, accelerating. So that container, it wasn't enough anymore. Yeah. However, you know, sometimes you're thinking one thing, but actually reality is completely different thing. So,
because that's that whole vision thing versus reality.
Yeah. So, and I think that when the realities really hit you right in the face, that, you know, the cost for the rents and salaries, etc., that from one side is probably lack of planning in terms of the having actual experience of planning ahead and hit KPIs. That time it was 2022, 2023, 2024 is that kind of, you know, the war period in Ukraine where I
yeah.
have to move my mom,
Yeah.
where I have to move my sister. And actually, business become not actually the business in the sense of like, is supposed to be. It's become like a salvation. I just pushed hard. Like I didn't give myself a choice to rest. I didn't give myself choice for 2 years to kind of go. And I think, that mindset wasn't right mindset at that time. And I wanted just kind of pay the salary to help my family, to kind of give opportunity for other people.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. That was right thing to do that time. But actually on the long term sustainable growth, it wasn't working. So I was very motivated to win Scottish Edge, which is, that moment we showed very good growth. But I think what happened is because I had this very peak performance so long for 2.5 years, and then tried to get this Scottish Edge, I was destroyed. Like I was physically, emotionally, my health went, mentally, but also physically. Like actually doctors were saying that if you're going to keep up like that with the cortisol, like your blood test is not good, you're more likely to actually develop cancer.
Whoa.
So, and then I had like some mini surgeries that I couldn't lift heavy. I couldn't, I just need to lay down and everything else is just kind of piled up. And this is continuous pressure that I couldn't cope with it. Like I couldn't really.
And you were still being a mother and a daughter and everything else at the same time.
Yes, and my mom still till now thinking that I have to get a real job. So it wasn't much of the Of course she helped as much as possible with children, but she still think why I couldn't get a job in Tesco. So I'm just
because in your mum's mind though, that's security, isn't it?
Yes,
it's
because
steady, easy, secure.
Yeah, but it's like that kind of mindset where you need to work for someone. But as you know, if you're hired by someone, you are achieving somebody else's dreams.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like
and you're killing your own.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's just by default and I'm I try to challenge my mom, but it's not possible. I said, Mom, just give me time. And
Katerina, I went through exactly the same with my dad. See those early years because they were really tough. I mean, there was days. I don't know if you've read the book but there was days when I didn't know how I was going to put food on the table. There was days when I just thought, I had a business meeting. I thought, how am I going to? I've got no money to put gas in the car to go to the business meeting. I was selling gold in my watches. I used to be really into expensive, and I had to sell it just to keep moving forward. And my dad he'd obviously see this because I would see him every weekend, and he would hear the stories, and he would say, why don't you just go back to oil and gas streams? Because I could have moved back, no problem. And he didn't. Now he gets it. Now that I was able to turn the corner and build something of substance, now he's kind of like, I get it now. But he was the same. He could not. In his brain, he was like, why would you do that? Why would you leave a career where you are making a shitload of money? You've got a great life. You're living in Dubai. Why? Why?
Yeah.
And he couldn't comprehend that belief, that dream, that thing. It was the word that's just in you. You know you're doing the right thing. You just don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah, absolutely. But actually, I was inspired a lot by my mom. We grew up, I wasn't grow up in, it was the past USSR breakdown in Ukraine.
By the way, I've got a Ukrainian that works for me. One of my coaches and trainers is from Ukraine. She's incredible. Her name is Natalie.
Natalie. I think maybe I know her. She's the coach. She's from Kiev. Maybe
she is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where she's from. I know she lives in UK now.
Yeah. So, and I think my mom, she always worked hard. I mean, we actually grew up working hard. We grew our own vegetables and foods. This is how we kind of survived through all this.
Is that how Naked Kimchi came about with it?
Actually, it's interesting because this is what Naked Kimchi. It was the actually thanks to the heritage and traditions that we grew up in. And I think this is so important. And come back to actually the business side, this is actually a lifestyle business, you know, and like if company who processing vegetables and they have this opportunity to connect that fermentation business to their core business, will be very complementary because I haven't had that. It's like, you know, and that part is, there is so amazing things happening within the fermented foods, and this is the way I grew up. We fermented everything: watermelons, tomatoes. We do a lot of conservation, and this is something that I always missed. And this is like, there is a lot of, like, I would say, very personal story behind it. And
is that why it meant so much to you?
Of course, of course.
Because that was your baby, really, was it? That was your other child.
Yes, of course. But also is that, you know, to understand in the business, you know, you had to, as an entrepreneur, you had to separate yourself from the business emotionally.
And that's hard.
And this is very hard.
Very, very hard, especially if you're trying to grow.
Yeah, and especially when, you know, you expect from yourself, you know, 1,000%, and then you expect you've been very hard on other people.
Because you want the same commitment.
Yes, but actually it's not, like, reality is different. So there is a lot of things, like, you know, to understanding your numbers is probably number one. When you have the story, when you have passion, this is, I think, one of the things that will keep you going through the dark times. Because, you know, when you mentioned about, like, one day I was actually, during my journey on Naked Kimchi, I was homeless because my ex, he sold house and we had no place to stay. We stayed with my mom, and my mom, she said, like, I can't do it anymore, single bedroom. So we had to kind of, you know, I'm like, where do I go? And then
that must have been hard and run a business and be a mum.
It was me and my daughter, because my son, he was living with my ex parents-in-law. And me and my daughter, I said that day, actually, we have no place to go. And we had some sofa in our production. And I said to my daughter, like, I didn't want to scare her. And I said, like, we have adventure. We're going to actually have sleepover in our production basically hall. And it was the two sofas put together, and we, like, you know, basically we like sleeping, and I'm telling her stories. And it's like, you know, from one side I was like, you know, what I'm doing, you know, like what I'm doing. And from other side, I'm like, you know what, this is the reality. And this is reality that, you know, it's not pretty, it's not successful success. There is a lot of time then you actually had to bite the bullet and really kind of, you know, try to figure out, you know, what do you do? And as you say, there was times where I couldn't, you know, put food, you know, on the table, where I had to come back to universal credit and, you know, and try to start all over again. So this is kind of, you know, I had this up and down, which is, of course, is affecting, you know, self-esteem. But
what keeps you going? Because you are so, like, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. You just keep getting up and moving forward. You keep getting up and you keep moving forward. You keep getting up and you keep moving forward. And I just love that.
It's, you need to become comfortable with failing. So I think that, you know, being comfortable of giving yourself, well, first of all, it's like, I would say, I can't work for someone for some reason.
You're unemployable now.
I'm not employable, but this is the sad part, because I tried to, you know, when I was working, like speaking with my working coach, and I said, like, I'm building a business and we're raising £1 million right now for AI. And she like, but this is going to be one day. I'm like, no, I need like 3-6 months. And she looked at me, but you still need to apply for a job. I'm like, yes, but I'm doing this when I'm, you know, I'm still like, I'm waking up in the morning, like from 6 till, you know, till the night. I'm working 24/7. And they're like, but the rules are rules. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll apply for the job. Refused. And I'm like, I can't, like, it's nothing what I can do.
I want to talk about that, right? Because I don't think there's enough support out there for small businesses, startups. What's your take on that? Because someone like you, right, it's people like us that change the world, right? The risk takers, the people that are going to go out there. Because let's be honest, Naked Kimchi you could have got somebody come in that could have invested, that had the money, that would enable you to be the next, you know, female entrepreneur, and it's a tough gig for a woman, by the way, in business as well. It's harder. You know, what's your take on that? Because I don't think there's enough support.
Actually, it's yes and no. Because in my experience, personal experience, I lived in Ukraine, I lived in Russia, I lived in Canada. I was quite, around the Europe, Middle East. So I would say that Scotland actually has amazing support in terms of resources, connections, and it's all about just go and ask. And find it.
Don't be frightened to ask.
And I think in my personal, I think I didn't ask enough for help.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I didn't ask enough for help, and I think because I went to that like a fight-flight mode that I couldn't understand how I can help going to get through that because we won the Scottish Edge, and basically I made wrong decisions to invest in the wrong person that haven't delivered me results that is supposed to be. So this has knocked me down. Then I had like few comments from accounts manager that actually demolished my, kind of that time. Basically, I was too vulnerable. And I think when you're in that state, you take things in the wrong way. So mental health is probably number one because for that year, 2024, I thought about suicide at least 3 times.
But it looked like a great year for you, though. See, outside looking in, 2024 looked like a brilliant year for you with the Edge and the business.
Yes, of course, because I kind of, I go like up, like, okay, I'm doing it, this, I'm just going and speaking openly about things. And then another time it's just like, boom. And I'm like,
here we go again.
I'm just like, I couldn't, like, my body physically was resisting and started to become ill the way I felt, and this was like yo-yo, and this is like you just couldn't get it, like, one day you're okay, another day, so and it's just really not helping to be consistent, being, to have that probably clear picture about the things, because mental health, the physical health affected, everything else is just by default. And then again, it's like also my co-founder got ill. So she couldn't be there like with me on side by side. So this has affected me so much because I felt lonely.
Yeah.
I felt like actually I don't have even anyone who get me, who can actually, I can bounce back and say, okay, what do we do? But then again, down to again, I'm taking that responsibility because I didn't ask for help.
Yeah.
I should just go, because Scotland, I would say, is one of the very few countries, actually maybe it's one of the, like, maybe it's one of the country that have so much support from actually government. Maybe it's not in much on the investment part, because there is still, quite, some challenges, investment in Scotland, but I believe it will change, of course. But at the same time, it's just kind of just go and ask. From the perspective of like job center, etc. There is programs for anyone who wants to start business. You can go and say, I want to have this self-employment year. Because I did that with Naked Kimchi.
Right.
The second round, they said, sorry, like you expired your option, and you used that, so there is no second option. So they cut me down completely. So I'm just basically had to like, okay, somehow I just need to make it happen. So now I'm bouncing back. I would say I'm bouncing back and try to kind of keep just make it happen.
So Naked Kimchi, you obviously came to a decision which must have been really tough to just walk away, because as I said, outside looking in, it looked like you were flying. So that must have been a really tough decision. Just that specifically, tell me, when did the realization come to you that I can't do this any longer? And what did that feel like? Yeah.
So I think facing reality, because I was driven by impact very much so. I think that kind of kept me going, driven by impact that are changing people's life, that is really resonate with me. And this is something that I really wanted to do. I believe that businesses are change makers because we can create policies within company. We even created policy for the women when you have that part of the months, so that you actually have light work, or you can allowed to actually take a day off, because we all suffered with that, because we all, there was kind of community of the women working for Naked Kimchi, and that's
amazing.
That was cool. That I was like, wow,
so proud.
I was like, I thought like those things I can actually make a change. And then I met someone who actually did the same in Middle East for the women. They just take 1 week or 5 days off without even telling anything, and the productivity actually went up and I thought that's actually great. But then again, it's like that sometimes illusion, when you have this emotionally invested, but then numbers are telling you completely different thing.
You said earlier, you got to know your numbers, or you could end up just trying to build this thing and it's crumbling behind your back because you really don't understand it. Right, so Naked Kimchi, so that you decided it was coming to a crash, you had to move on. What happened next? Because it is tough. I mean, it's really tough for a woman in business. I know that because we work with a lot of female entrepreneurs, and it's a tough gig.
I can say that. So I think entrepreneurship doesn't have a gender. I know a lot of people will maybe not agree with that, but actually when you go to the path of...
Because it's a mindset.
This is the mindset. This is the way of life. This is the lifestyle. And entrepreneurship don't have a gender. Doesn't matter. You're black, white, women, men. There is the same process and systems. And there is the same expectations. And the motivation comes... there is no motivation in terms of, is there supposed to be like a standard? And I think, I will come back to the Naked Kimchi thing, to realizing that it's not working. Why it's not working? You need to understand politics, social economics, everything that's happening. So it wasn't probably the best time. I knew kind of, okay, if I'm going to keep going, I still need to raise quite a lot of investment. Do I have that capacity, or do I have that kind of, energy to pull it off? I've tried to kind of pivot into digital, but then I'm like, I just had no energy. I just had no energy. I had motivation, but I had no energy.
Wow.
So, and then I had to be like, so that time I had this side gig to go to Saudi Arabia because,
I remember that. I remember you were in Saudi. And I lived there. You remember I lived in Saudi for 4.5 years.
So it's interesting because my plan was to actually expand to Middle East with kimchi, because I had this strategic, again, it comes to understanding politics, how the economic will grow. And I thought that would be amazing because it can, like, I take the world from the Middle East, basically. This was, I had this kind of bigger picture. And then I was doing some business development for technical companies, like a side gigs to try to kind of keep myself afloat. But everything I was strategized to that point. And it was December 2024. I was someone who I knew. She came and she said, I need to put together, I don't know the market. I had no idea about, how everything works. Basically, I need to put together female artists of Saudi Arabia and put them together and curate this exhibition for the Forbes Middle East. I said, okay, not a problem. And basically from the zero, have no idea about the art, even though I'm very well rounded, but basically I had people, I had no budget. And I had no, basically, insurance, nothing. So I put people together by basically convincing them to be part of the bigger picture,
Yeah.
and creating this showcase of the Saudi female women exhibiting during the Forbes Middle East in December. I had 2 galleries that came and helped me for free, basically. So, and I delivered that project. I didn't get paid for that project. So I had this, this is this different story, but that completely changed. I thought I able to, bring together something from nothing by just using my, I would say, mindset and my skills of communication.
Absolutely.
And understanding the culture. And that kind of led me to more opportunities to meet more people, like in investors, etc., etc.
Because you were in investment for a while, weren't you? You were supporting a kind of female investors.
I joined. So this is like another probably topic for the journey, because I joined Mint Ventures.
Yeah.
And to learn about the investment. I haven't yet invested, but because I was invested in my business.
Yeah.
But I think this was amazing opportunity to learn from women how they think, and I would highly recommend anyone who. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to understand how the investor mindset works. So, after that trip, I come back to Glasgow, and it was I think it was like after Christmas, and I sat down, and I'm like, what am I doing? So I able for such a short time to deliver basically ROI, and I understood like, okay, if I able to do with so little, and my kind of, potential ROI will be so high, and reality is I'm working so hard on something that is very hard to scale. A fermented business is lifestyle business. It's something that if you're comfortable doing that from small, room in your house, in your container, this is the best probably way, because when I start to scaling up, reality is, and this is I learned from our biggest competitors who went down in London. They're also our best friends. And what I've learned that they actually, by communicating with the other entrepreneurs in that space, they said they actually made more money when they were lean and small rather than when they scaled up. They had this, they worked with Harrods and Selfridges, but they wasn't making money.
Yeah.
So it was just like looking amazing and great, but actually the reality is completely different. So the
margins are a lot smaller, more people, costs are going up.
Everything.
Yeah.
So, and I think that kind of hit me because I had this experience helping from the legal part to this company in London, our friends, and then analyzing. And then I went to Middle East, and I come back, and I'm like, it's just not going to work. And I had to just kind of sit down, and I'm like, this is the reality. I am ready to continue grind, or shall I just kind of rethink things? So, and I had this notification, publicly I announced that I'm going to liquidating and closing the company. And this is where my co-founder now from Gabriele, he just flew after I said, he just came to me straight away. He I'm really sorry. What happened, but could you be my co-founder? So this was just basically the second he was just when he said the words, he was kind of selling to me. He said, you were fighting with the needle, I can build you a tank.
Wow.
So, and I'm like, okay, let's see.
So tell us about the new venture. What is this? Because it's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, so because I had all this experience of kind of fundraising, going through
you understand business, entrepreneur, the challenges.
Yes, of course. I'm not understanding everything, but I have enough experience.
You've got lived experiences. You've been there. You've been seeing the success, and it's came crumbling down, and you've built back up. So you've got I like to say the lived experiences of what we go through.
Yes, and I think that kind of allowed me to, I would say, make probably better decisions. Learning about the investment, it was one of the key points where I can put my investor's hat Again, I don't know everything. But I'm still on the journey.
I don't know everything.
And I would say
17 staff and I don't know.
And I think that kind of mind of continuous learning, that
Yes.
is so important, because you're curious, you're asking. I'm not there to, I made the peace with my ego in oil and gas, and I would say that I'm able to say, you know what, there is the opportunity for me, and this opportunity to make a great impact. So we kind of came from the same story of burned out.
Yeah.
And this story came across like he had this very challenging time in his life. He's a full stack engineer. He taught at universities. He kind of, the tech side is very kind of solid what he can do. But then there is that business acumen is missing.
Yeah.
And myself,
That's where you came in.
this is where my probably strongest asset
Yes.
is the business development,
Yeah.
Communication, and
Your grit, your tenacity,
I'm just
determination.
keep going. Well, I'm not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
That's how I built my business.
Yeah.
Like, no's an unanswered yes to me.
Yeah, so
I'm the same.
You and this is like where, entrepreneurship. This is all about. There is no no. You just make it happen,
Yeah.
and you're one of the inspiration always been for me.
Wow, thank you so much.
And I think this
You'll
is
embarrass me.
no. This is so important to actually surround yourself with people, because again, I've heard from someone, you don't need motivation, you need a standard, and the standard comes from when you surround yourself with people who have high standard. By default, you're going to
you raise yourself to those
raise
standards.
the standard, because if you're going to surround yourself with people with low standard, this is going to happen. You're going to
The language is different.
absolutely
The conversations
Yeah,
are
yeah,
different.
yeah.
The expectations are different.
Yeah, so and I think that kind of standard. So, and come back to the B Brio. So we kind of came with this burnout hustle culture, and tried to actually figure out how we can use technology to help. If we had hypothetically our co-founder that would be there for us to help us to have this omni-channel communication with our community, with our clients, and at the same time looked after us. So we thought like how we can bring the technology and the wellness aspect together. And Brio, so I was like brainstorming, like I love to creating brands with the purpose.
Yeah.
And this is what happened with Naked Kimchi. I created the full kind of story around it, and then
Amazing. I loved it.
how to resonate with people on very heart to heart kind of level. And this was the same with the Brio, because before that we had this Blaster AI, which is where specifically for the e-gaming. And I'm like, I don't feel that I'm connected to that, amazing product, everything. But I'm like, I think I will step down and I would like to make something more meaningful. And for me, this is the drive. Like I had to feel not just inspiration. I need to understand that what I'm doing is affecting people's life in a positive way. And this
You've
technology...
got to believe in the thing that you're going to go out there in the world and say, look at me and look at this. You've got to believe that you're very obviously driven by that desire to have something that's going to change the world or make people feel better.
Yeah, I would like to kind of live this world a little bit better after I go on, and I think a lot probably that kind of part of what's going to how I want to be remembered, but at the same time what kind of input I want to bring to humanity in general through.
I want you to tell me about Brio. Tell me about I want to know the name. I'm sitting here thinking, what's the Brio story? What's the Brio story?
Yeah, so Brio is, I brainstormed the names and it was just perfect because Brio, it's in Italian because my co-founder, he's Italian.
Yep.
And in the Celtic, it means that, vigorous, brave.
Yeah.
And the sole point of B Brio is about, embracing that entrepreneurship journey. And that product is designed for the solopreneurs and high achievers who want to stay lean, and at the same time, all this, everything in one place. Because right now we are facing, and this is a problem I face and my co-founder, multiple apps multiple notifications. So many sign in to here, sign in to there.
Yes.
So we actually, as high achievers, we lose the focus. We lose the focus, and we develop ADHD and all other neuro things.
Guilty.
Yeah, same. No, I'm the same. So actually, I haven't been I need to actually get myself tested, because at some point I'm like, whoa, like, what's going on? But, and this is the problem I wanted to solve for myself, first of all, how to run business. And then I thought, like, well, that could be potentially helping also people with ADHD who is there grinding, they think, and they want to keep it lean. They want to keep it 1, 2 people, 3 people, but it's kind of mostly for individuals, where you have full omnichannel. So we created this, we've been inspired, of course, by other apps that is, they are so fragmented, and we thought we want to put everything together. And you have just only one system that you don't need to jump onto multiple things. You have all your database of your clients. You have all communication happening within the omni-channel through emails, WhatsApps, calls. So you kind of creating your AI twin. You kind of, uploading everything that your customers want to know, and they will communicate. So, and those things will, of course, increase. We will change based on the feedback. Some features will be adding, of course, in the future. At the moment, is giving you that opportunity of notifications from the wellness point of view. Drink water. You've been sitting too long. Take a walk. And that, mindful quotes that, it's not only care about your business, but actually cares about you.
Absolutely. You've got to be healthy, body and mind.
And in the future, it looks like that actually it will just connect it to your smartwatch, and it will communicate through your database and actually how you feel. And most inspirational part for me is women performance, because female performance is in cycles. And we have very interesting I would say abilities that physiologically that we more productive in one part than another. And if you know your cycles, you know where to plan more, wow,
I never knew this. That's amazing.
From the workouts, because we change our hormone within for four times a month, and every 2, 3 months, 4 months, also another things change. So the women will perform completely different. So they will have active phase, then the phase that they can actually.
That's a podcast on its own, by the way.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going to leave it for the next time. So that kind of performance is very, very important. And I have my own, I would say, vision to specifically for the women's performance.
So let's go there before we close off. So what does the future look like?
Yeah.
What does that look like for you right now?
Yeah, futures looks like I keep working on B Brio AI. Get as much as possible feedback, because we would love to. We are starting beta testing right now. And with opportunity, probably we're going to raise as well. We're going to raise funding. Probably the evaluation of wellness apps right now around 52.5 billion in the world. So even if we get 0.1%, but then again, is that another level? It's another level for me to use everything what I have and just challenge myself. The good thing about that, though, is it's scalable really, really fast. Yes, absolutely. So it's absolutely scalable. It's tech. And I'm so happy to actually move to the tech part. And I'm looking forward to actually change people's life, not necessarily through fermented food, but through the using technology and make life easier. It's almost like you're going home. So you from an engineering background, you're going back to this kind of world, but except just not oil and gas any longer. Yeah. Listen, before we close off, I ask all my guests this. I want you. So we've got maybe a young female or a male, anyone, and they're either thinking of getting into business, or they're in business and they're struggling and they're thinking about giving up. And
I want your top 3 pieces of advice.
Yeah.
What's your 3 pieces of advice you would give someone, either wanting into business or they're in business, they're struggling, they're not really sure about that path?
Yeah. I think number 1 is know yourself. If you know yourself, like not everyone built for business. And I think this is reality you have to face. Because if you have doubts, there is probably doubts for a reason.
Yeah.
So if you know this is for you, you don't have those thoughts.
You still have them, but they're a different kind of doubt.
It's the difference because, it takes probably a special breed of people.
Yes, it does.
I
agree.
To take responsibility and make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would say that just know yourself. By knowing yourself, you will know that actually, you know what, entrepreneurship is not for me.
Yep.
And I'm very comfortable to work
Yep.
for someone.
Yep.
Or I want to have lifestyle business because actually with the lifestyle business as a solopreneur, you can do also amazing things.
Yep.
And you not necessarily need to scale up.
Yep.
So by knowing yourself, who you are and what you want for the long term, you can adjust. There is the different, I would say, frameworks of things that you can do. And maybe you've tried and you tried to scale it, and then you had like, actually, I'm not feeling that it's working for me. What other options? Just find someone who is more, who walked that journey. Take some mentorship, some coaching.
Yep.
You're doing actually amazing trainings and coaching as well. So speak with someone who been there, who done it, and when you struggle, what is the balance looks for you? And again, it's come to the knowing yourself. What is your priorities? What is your values? When you know that, it's easier for you to make decisions. I think this is kind of my takeaways. And of course, know your numbers.
Yeah, know your but business entrepreneurship is a really, really, really tough gig and can be really, really lonely. I'm very, very lucky. When you were talking about your business partner went ill and very lonely and you don't have that person to bounce off of, I'm really, really fortunate that I've got Ines, who's co-founder.
She's amazing.
And by the way, runs their business. I mean, she runs the business. I mean,
just operational. It's so much operation happening, and I really take my hat off because amount of the programs she created, and she able to keep that machine going on the background, even though it's not visible as much, I would say, but the grind is real. And I think it's like it's so much inspiration, and I think that standard that is there that have to be shared. Absolutely. And actually to say that this is the standard of the ethics and the work culture that's helping other people to actually level up. This is the reality, is the grind, the discipline.
Yes.
And I think without the discipline, you're not able to achieve things.
Yeah.
It's not like one day you say, okay, I'm going to do this for 3 days, and then if it didn't really work, like maybe I give up. It's not like that.
No.
So, and this has come to your motivational intelligence.
Yeah.
And I think this is the very crucial to understand, so... I'm looking forward to actually to go on your next training. So.
Just ask. I'll give you a free place on any of the courses. You'll love it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, closing off. How do people get in contact with B Brio?
B Brio, we are on LinkedIn, and also you can go on the website bbrio.ai.
Amazing. And also the details will be on the YouTube and on the podcast.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I have absolutely loved your journey. I have, and it's actually quite insightful to hear all the things that, because I've went through them, and I was lucky that I was able to come out the other end. So thank you for sharing that. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your platform and opportunity to share my story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.